The day before I got the job, I was almost broke. The rent was 2 months overdue, and the landlord had started knocking on my door every morning. When an old friend called to tell me about a night guard position in a partially abandoned office building, I didn't hesitate. "The job is easy," he said. "Just monitor the 3 floors from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. I asked him, "Why did the previous guard quit?" He hesitated for a moment, then said, "Psychological pressure, but you're stronger than him." I laughed that day. I wish I hadn't. I went to see the place before starting the shift. The building was old but not completely abandoned. The ground floor was rented to a small shipping company, while the second and third floors had been empty for years. The company manager handed me the keys and explained the routine. Around every 2 hours. Record the time in a logbook at the entrance. Do not allow anyone inside after midnight. Before I left, I asked him, "Is there anything I should know?" He replied with a quick smile. "People here imagine things because of the silence. Don't let your imagination run." 8 p.m. The building was quieter than it should have been. Not ordinary silence, but the kind that makes you hear your own breathing as if it were noise. The first round went smoothly, the second as well. At 12:37, after midnight, I heard a door close on the second floor. I convinced myself it was the wind. I went upstairs. All the offices were locked, but one chair at the end of the corridor was positioned in the middle of the room, away from the desk. I noticed something strange. Dust covered the floor, except around the chair, as if someone had sat there recently. I slowly stepped back. 2:15 a.m., fatigue began creeping in. I sat in the security room reviewing the cameras. Then I saw something that made my heart stop. The camera on the third floor was showing the corridor, and at the end of it, a man was standing there. His features weren't clear, but he looked normal. Dark clothes. Still, I thought he was a thief. I ran to the third floor immediately. When I arrived, the corridor was empty. I went back to the monitoring room, reviewed the recording. No one appeared. The camera showed an empty corridor the entire time. I stared at the screen, trying to understand what had just happened. Did I imagine it? 3:40 a.m. My phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Silence, but I heard faint breathing. Then the line went dead. A minute later, it rang again. Same number. This time, a very low male voice came through. "Don't turn around!" I froze, because I had been just about to turn around. I hung up in panic, but I turned around anyway. The door to the security room was half open. I was certain I had closed it. I stood up slowly, walked toward it, opened it completely. The corridor was empty, but on the round logbook at the entrance, there was a new signature, right under my name. Time, 3:32 a.m. Name, unclear, just a scribbled line. But I hadn't made a round at 3:32. I had been in the monitoring room. I went back to check the cameras. In the 3:31 recording, the security room appeared, and I was sitting in the chair. At 3:32, a person who looked exactly like me appeared leaving the room, walking down the corridor, and signing the logbook. Then he returned and sat in my place. The video showed me in 2 different places within the same minute. The image suddenly froze. The recording cut out. At 6, the company manager arrived. My face was pale. I told him everything. He didn't look surprised. He opened a drawer in his desk and took out an old file. "The guard before you said the same thing." Then he added calmly, "And the one before him as well." I asked in a trembling voice, "Why didn't you tell me?" He replied, Because the cameras always prove the guard is imagining things. No one else ever appears in the recordings, except him. I looked at him. He said, "Sometimes long nights of solitude make a person see himself from the outside." I left the office unable to think, and that night, I didn't return. But a week later, the same friend called me. He said they had found a new guard. Then he asked me one question. "By the way, were you at the building yesterday at 3:32 a.m.? I hung up, because I was certain I had never gone back there, but in my pocket was the key to the 3rd floor.